Now, to everybody who says that I'm overreacting when I say that our enemies want to destroy us and they're trying to bring about Armageddon, here is what President Ahmadinejad said a few months ago. Quote, he prayed to God to hasten the emergence of your last repository, the promised one, that perfect and pure human being, the one that will fill this world with justice and peace. I read that the first time. I thought, am I missing something here? I've got to be wrong. I mean, they don't really want to bring about Armageddon, do they? Joel Rosenberg has been called to the White House now to brief the administration on end-of-days scenario. He joins us now. Joel, I read this in, I think it was Rolling Stone magazine, and they're trying to say, oh, look, he's being controlled by the Bible. Does the president believe these are the end of days?
Well, I did speak at a White House Bible study. It was actually last year. I've spoken to a number of congressional leaders and Homeland Security and Pentagon about my novels, which are based on Bible prophecy. I have not met with the President of the United States, right, and I can't tell you what he believes. I have a feeling, based on my conversations with friends at the White House, he's got a pretty full plate. You know, he's more concerned about what Ahmadinejad believes about the end of the world than spending time on this himself.
See, here's the interesting thing that I think that Christians understand that are looking at you know, end of days stuff. It doesn't mean that it is going to happen. It means
right,
that there are a certain series of events that if you don't stop them or reverse them, they will happen. Am I wrong? It's not a doomsday scenario.
Well, it's a little combination of both. The Bible does lay out a whole series of things to watch for, right, that would indicate that we are living in the last days. One of them is a Russian-Iranian alliance with Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, and a group of other countries that will attack Israel. Now, those events that the Bible predicts, those will happen. But we don't know yet if we are there.
Right.
Obviously, Russia and Iran is building an alliance now that hasn't happened in the 2,500 years since the Hebrew prophet Ezekiel wrote it. Right. So it's intriguing.
But you could also slow that down. You could, if that alliance happens, you could do things to prevent it. You know, it's not inevitable that this is the time, even if that alliance
right,
is
formed. The timing is the key for Jews and Christians, which is, are we living? Now, events can converge, and then, you know, you had a situation in which the Soviet Union, as I describe in Epicenter, in 1967, in that war, and in 73, was right on the verge of sending ground troops into Israel. I got the NSA, State Department, White House transcripts of how close they came, but they didn't. So those looked like apocalyptic moments, right, but God kicked the can up the road, as it were, and the United States was a key player in that. Okay. So the question is, will we deal with Iran now, or are we going to wait for them to launch an apocalyptic war against us?
Okay. Now, Joel, when you were at the Pentagon and White House, et cetera, what were their questions, and what are the, more importantly, what are the answers that you gave them, and what are the answers that that the American people should hear?
Well, the question that's been most interesting among these various administration and congressional officials is, are you saying that the Bible talks about an alliance between Iran, Russia, and a group of Middle Eastern countries to attack Israel at some point? And the answer is yes. Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39 describes what Bible scholars call the war of Gog and Magog. I had a high-ranking congressman say right to me, are you kidding? I mean, I've never even heard of this, of Russia and Iran forming an alliance. The word Russia is never used in the Bible. Persia is the name for Iran, and you have to do some historical detective work to discover what the ancient names correspond to in modern times, and I do that in the book. But it is quite fascinating, because as I said, in the 2,500 years since Ezekiel wrote the prophecy, Russia and Iran have never had an alliance, but they are developing one now, and right, that's what's so chilling, in light of what Ahmadinejad is saying, that he believes the end of the world is rapidly approaching. Right. There's sort of convergence there.
Here's the thing, and we're going to have to finish this conversation on the radio tomorrow. I'd like to spend some real time with you on this stuff tomorrow, because the interesting thing to me is, even though I may not believe it, Ahmadinejad does believe it. What is the latest poll? What is the percentage of Americans that believe that we're living in the end days?
Well, we did an exclusive poll for this new book, Epicenter, and we found that 42% of Americans believe that we are living in what the Bible calls the last days. That includes 40% of self-described Democrats. 75% of African Americans, 57% of young people between the ages of 18 and 25 believe we are living in the last days. It's a striking number and helps you understand a little bit of Americans' anxiety about the Middle East.
Okay, Joel, we'll talk to you tomorrow on the radio.
Sure, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.